All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Patriots Real Time Podcast. I'm your host, Theo Diesenhaus. Today, we have some very shocking, exciting, whatever you want to call it, news. That Patriots head coach, JEROD Mayo, was officially fired by Robert Kraft. This news is very surprising, as I just said, as Robert Kraft handpicked JEROD Mayo to be the Patriots head coach just 5 years ago, and he was hired last year. Less than a year ago, actually, to be the Patriots head coach, and he's fired, like I said, in less than a year. The Patriots also take down the Buffalo Bills 23-16 in JEROD Mayo's final game to drop them out of the number one pick and slide them all the way down to 4, and let's talk about it. All right, so no Austin today. He has basketball practice or basketball game or something like that, so it is what it is. We'll figure it out, but anyways, yeah, so let's talk about JEROD Mayo getting fired first, because that's what you want to hear about, not the game. Then we'll kind of talk about that, the draft maybe, but really we'll start with JEROD Mayo. We'll kind of start with the timeline, why he was fired, which makes perfect sense if you think about it. But yeah, so JEROD Mayo fired after just one season, less than a year, like I keep saying, of being the Patriots head coach. It was a 4-13 season. They rounded out the season nicely. Week 1 win, and then Week 18 win, but still wasn't enough to keep his job. Things were going well. In, I'd say, the fourth quarter, halfway through the fourth quarter of Week 2, the Patriots were about to become 2-0. Antonio Gibson just had a 30-yard screenplay, maybe 40 or 50 or 60, I don't even remember, something like that, 30 to 60-yard screenplay. Patriots were about to go to 2-0, and then things just went downhill from there. You obviously have the Jets loss, you have the Niners loss, you have the Miami loss, and then Houston loss, the Jaguars lost in London, who I believe finished ahead of you in the draft. So, yeah, it kind of spiraled out. Then you beat the Jets with Jacoby Brissett, you beat the Bears with Drake May, and then you beat the Bills today with Joe Milton. Shout out Joe Milton. Hell of a game. I was rooting for him. But yeah, this is very shocking news, like I keep saying. But Mayo fired. Let's start from the offseason, though. So they hired JEROD Mayo. I couldn't tell you the exact date, but it was sometime in January, very early January. They fired Belichick on Thursday. I'll talk about him getting fired on a Sunday, which nobody gets fired on a Sunday. Usually they'll wait till Black Monday, which, if you don't know what Black Monday is, it's when all the coaches get fired, and no, that's pretty much what Black Monday is. So, didn't even wait to that. But anyways, what's the significance of that? I'll talk about that later. But so let's start off. The opening press conference. Looking back on it, and I didn't rewatch it, it was kind of weird. There was a lot of talk about JEROD Mayo becoming the first black head coach of the New England Patriots. Which, okay, that's fine. I'm not saying that's bad, but it was just a little bit, they talked about that. They didn't really talk about football. Okay, it's the first time. I didn't like one of Mayo's comments saying about how, well, I don't know if I didn't like it or not, but he was like, we'll celebrate. I'm going to have get lit tonight or something like that. And then we'll get to work tomorrow. Sure. I don't know. Kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. But I was very excited for Mayo. I really wanted them to hire him. So I'm not going to pretend like I didn't say that. What else we got? So the draft happens. Well, free agency, he goes out. He says, we're going to burn some cash. And then redacts. No. What's the word for that? I don't know. He takes back the statement a few months later. A few weeks later, maybe even a few days later. I don't even know. At the owners' meetings, he said all this. So they don't burn some cash. They don't really spend money on anyone. Their only good free agency signing was, well, they had two, I'd say. The best one being Antonio Gibson or Austin Hooper, actually. You can debate those. Those two solid signings. Hopefully Hooper's back next year. He was pretty solid this year. Had a good day. Got an incentive today. Anyways, yeah, I hope both those guys are back. But anyways, so he says that. This is just going through my head, so I could be forgetting things. There's a lot of things about, the quarterback. So he gets a training camp. Or let's talk about the draft. First, you have the draft. This is Elliott Wolf's draft. He went out and said that, by the way, Elliott Wolf will be back next year. Alex Van Pelt fired, and the whole coaching staff is fired. Not officially, but you can tell. Just the only officially fired is technically JEROD Mayo, but there are reports from, I think, Jordan Schultz that Alex Van Pelt is fired. Let me just confirm that real quick. Did Alex Van Pelt get fired? Let's see. Oh, what the heck is this? I don't know. I'm looking for Alex Van Pelt. Sorry, I got sidetracked by an article. Alex Van Pelt. I'll talk about Alex Van Pelt in a minute. Ben Volen. So, Troll and Volen. Adam on at first, but a source confirms to the Globe that JEROD Mayo has been fired. Offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt is out as well. Crafts waste no time making big changes. So Alex Van Pelt fired per Ben Volen, Troll and Volen. I hate him, but it's okay. Just kidding. I don't hate you, Ben Volen. But yeah, so Volen and all 4 of them reports that Alex Van Pelt is out as the Patriots offensive coordinator, and that I didn't like that. I liked Alex Van Pelt. I thought he developed Drake May very well. I thought he developed Joe Milton very well. Obviously, Jacoby Brissett, there's not much saving that, but hopefully May and Milton are able to take what they learned from Van Pelt, transfer it over next year with their new offensive coordinator. If that's Ben Johnson, great. I'm sure they will continue, but you never know, because Alex Van Pelt was just such a great teacher, and I want to thank Alex Van Pelt. Obviously, I don't want to thank Alex Van Pelt because I wasn't on the fucking team, but I as a fan, I want to thank Alex Van Pelt for all that he did. Helped Drake May significantly, helped Joe Milton significantly. The offensive play calling wasn't terrible at all times. I liked the creativity that he brought. So yeah, I want to thank Alex Van Pelt as the offensive coordinator. Now, JEROD Mayo, I don't want to thank him. He did not do a good job. Jeremy Springer, also thank him for doing a good job on special teams. There were some mishaps there, but yeah, Covington, I really liked the Covington hire. I don't think he did a great job, but he's getting too much hate. I do like Covington. He was the right hire. He definitely was the right hire for the defensive coordinator spot. Even looking back on it, I still would say that he wasn't experienced enough, but 100% was the right hire for the Patriots at defensive coordinator, in my opinion. Who else we got? And then JEROD Mayo, yeah, I would say he's the only one that wasn't the right hire. Hopefully, and maybe Jeremy Springer will be kept next year. So, cool. But anyways, back to the quarterback hunch, or the draft? I don't know. Elliott Wolf is back. I think I said that. Okay, anyways. All right, the draft is pretty bad. But we're staying with JEROD Mayo. We're not talking about Elliott Wolf right now. So, we'll keep it with JEROD Mayo. Yeah, what am I talking about? Oh, the quarterback controversy. So, in the summer, he said that Jacoby Brissett was 100% of the starting not 100%, but he said Jacoby Brissett was the starting quarterback. Then he kind of takes it back, saying it's a competition. And then they have this big media revealing of who's the starting quarterback. He's like, I'm going to tell the guys tomorrow, then I'll tell you guys. This was the first day of school for me. But yeah, first period, first day of school, that JEROD Mayo announced Jacoby Brissett to be the starting quarterback. Shout out journalism class. But anyways, yeah. So that didn't need to be a big controversy. He stuck with the guy that he said was going to be the starting quarterback. Then I'm sure there's some other mishaps that I'm forgetting in there. Yeah, I feel like there was a recent one that was pretty big. I can't really remember, honestly, because there were so many. But if someone wants to put out like a tweet kind of summarizing the whole JEROD Mayo, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I will do that. Today? Maybe. Figure it out. Yeah, I'm just looking through here. Okay, anyways, yeah. Not great. So then we get into the season. Jacoby Brissett is benched after 5 games. They go to Drake May. I like that decision. And then Drake May plays pretty well. I'm sure there were other things that Mayo said throughout the season that people didn't like and were like, what is going on? but I can't remember them off the top of my head. So that's that for that. But anyways, I had a take saying that there's no way if Joe Milton plays this week that Jerod Mayo thinks he doesn't have a job. So, and I've seen that he gathered everyone back. He called all of his assistant coaches back into the room to tell him he was fired. I wonder if he found out by Adam Schefter. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Maybe he met with Mayo and then talked to the coaches, but still, not fun stuff. I do feel bad for Jerod because was he really given a fair chance? No. If you really think about it, the roster was terrible. Elliott Wolf did not do a good job putting together this roster. Especially the tackles. You can go and harp on it as much as you want, but Chuks Okorafor at left tackle was not the answer. Caden Wallace at right tackle, he had 2 holding penalties today. He was not the answer. You're going to need a whole new tackle set. For guards, I think you're good with Mike Onwenu. Cole Strange is probably the worst center I've ever seen in my life. Some of the snaps today that he was giving to Joe Milton. Okay, so I don't know completely if Joe Milton just likes the ball snaps softly like that, like a pop fly in the infield. But Ben Brown is a much better center than Cole Strange. So let's see what he can, because I don't think he did terribly blocking-wise. No, I don't think the line was not great today. Also playing against third stringers, but I don't think Cole Strange has done a terrible job blocking. I just think he can't snap the ball. So maybe you can have him at guard. I don't think that was the worst pick of all time because he can block pretty well. Oh, I'm dying over here at the solo podcast. Not great, but no, I don't think that was the worst pick of all time because he can block all right. But maybe you have him there. Maybe this new head coach, whoever that is, we'll talk about that in a minute. But whoever this new head coach is, maybe he likes City So a little bit more than Jerod Mayo did, or Scott Peters did, who's also going to be gone probably. Oh boy, yeah, there's a lot of guys that are gone. But yeah, not a single coach on the Patriots right now. So pretty cool. But we'll see. Hopefully it's probably going to be Vrabel. That's my guess. I would be surprised if it wasn't. If they can get Ben Johnson and they have the option, Vrabel or Ben Johnson, I'd go ahead and take Ben Johnson over Mike Vrabel. But, I don't think the Vrabel era will fail at all. I think it's going to go extremely well when they hire Mike Vrabel. I think he's going to be here at least 2 years, at least at the worst, 2 years at the minimum. He's not getting fired next year, even if they go 2-15. Because I can guarantee you that the locker room isn't going to be this bad. I don't want to talk about it. I do want to talk about it because I'm talking about it, but I don't want to say it was Jerod Mayo's fault because it wasn't Jerod Mayo's fault. But, you had some off-the-field issues. There were a lot of players off the field. Oh, I know what one of the other things was. Hold on. But you had some off-the-field issues. Multiple players were arrested. Obviously, that's not Jerod Mayo's fault. No, this never happened. No, I don't want to say it never happened under Bill because, yeah. But, you know what I'm talking about, Aaron Hernandez. But, this didn't really happen under Bill, especially 2 guys. And I guess one of them, well, you can't really, okay, I'm just going to change the subject. But another thing that happened, speaking of, defensive players, Keon White, the whole Keon White situation happened. Hopefully Keon White is back next year because there is going to be a new head coach. But I don't know. I really don't know if Keon White's going to be back next year. He has the comments that we talked about. Oh, actually, no, because I never posted those. But I talked about this on the Real podcast with Austin, how White spoke out against Mayo. Not against Mayo, but kind of against the coaching. And whatever, Mayo was like, I don't think this is what happened. And then White was like, no, this is what okay. White said something about how he doesn't really know what his future is going to be. Mayo said, you took it out of context. I just spit all over my desk. Sorry. But, and then, yeah, Mayo said they took it out of context. White said, no, that's what I mean. Another thing, Jelani Tavai said, and I have the picture. It's a poster that I made, but it's up there, right there. It says, they just got to know their place, talking about the fans. So, shout out Jelani Tavai, just got to know my place as a fan. Okay, thank you. And then he benched him. He benched Jelani. That was the best move that Jerod Mayo made this whole year. Benching Jelani Tavai after he said that. Boris wrote, the real Mayo, what the hell? Oh, the real Mayo era was the friends we made along the way. Real. see here. The Broncos are up 31-0 against the Chiefs right now. So, yeah. Post game still live for the Patriots following the Mayo fire. Just looking here at some things. Gronk was about to go in on the Crafts before Fox pulled it and went into break. About firing JEROD Mayo, I'm assuming. There was something else that I was going to say. A lot of the former players that played with Mayo are very upset. They probably should be, because it was kind of unjust for him to fire him like this, but I'm not upset about the firing at all. I just say it was unfair for JEROD Mayo. Could he have done a better job? Probably, with the media. And I just want to say that I don't think that JEROD Mayo would have been fired if his answers with the media were a little bit better. And I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but to me, the media kind of just put the nail in the coffin for Jonathan Kraft, because he was the one that fired him, in my opinion, to fire JEROD Mayo and convince Robert Kraft to fire JEROD Mayo, because the handling of the media was just so bad that it kind of just became like wrong to not fire him just because of that. And yeah, I think that the media, that's kind of my take. I think the media was like the water that pushed him over the edge. That doesn't make sense, but you know what I'm saying. It was just the last little push that made him go over the edge. That's what I think. I think the media, the way he handled the media, JEROD Mayo, the way he answered questions, not necessarily handled it, but the way he answered questions was what pushed Jonathan and Robert Kraft over the edge to eventually fire him. Kind of sounds crazy, but I think it's true. So, yeah, just spitting out takes here. Yeah, I think I was going to say something about something. I had a good thing to say, but then I got lost on Twitter. As former Patriots head coach JEROD Mayo would say, I got lost in the sauce on Twitter. So, can't be doing that. But yeah, maybe I'll find what I want to say here. David, I wonder what the Quick Snap podcast is going to be. That's, if you don't know what that is David Andrews and Brian Hoyer's podcast. So we'll see what that is, because David Andrews obviously on the team. Oh, here we go. Kayshawn, let me find the tweet actually. I think I posted it on my story. Kayshawn Booty. Yeah, Kayshawn Booty. About 20 minutes, 30 minutes before JEROD Mayo was announced to the public. God bless. Now, was he 100% talking about JEROD Mayo being fired, like necessarily? Was he talking about that? I don't know. He could have been. He could have just been talking about his game, because he was the first Patriots receiver in a while to have 100 yards. Shout out Kayshawn Booty. I love you. But he said, God bless. I'm assuming it's because Mayo was fired, because that is absolutely wild. But some people didn't like Mayo. Kayshawn Booty spoke out against Alex Van Pelt multiple times. And he should have, because he had a great game today. He's your wide receiver one right now, in my opinion. Demario Douglas, yeah, he's good, but Kayshawn Booty's your wide receiver one. So before the draft and before free agency in this next 2-month time period, if you ever see something about wide receiver ones in the NFL, it's going to be Kayshawn Booty's face on the Patriots. If it's like all 32 teams wide receiver one going into 2025 NFL season, Kayshawn Booty is going to be there for the New England Patriots, because he's their wide receiver one now. Pop, you're the wide receiver 3 on this team. I think Booty's going to be the wide receiver 2 next year. Honestly, there would be zero shock. I wouldn't be shocked at all if Jalen Polk is cut before training camp or during training camp next year, because number one, well, Elliot Wolf is still here, but Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson, Brian Flores, whoever the hell the Patriots coach is, he didn't want him here. Elliot Wolf did, but he had a terrible season, and I think Javon Baker's gonna make it. Or I don't say this about Javon Baker because he just didn't play. Jalen Polk did play. His attitude got ruined, and I think he's gonna be gone next year. I don't know. I think you should keep Baker. I think he was getting open today. So, yeah. Anyways, let me get a sip of water real quick. But, yeah. Haven't done a solo show in a while. So, 20 minutes and counting. We're still going to go over some head coaching candidates. Talk about that. Look up a few. Give my opinion on them. Unfortunately, I can't remember the name of one of these guys that I want to be the head coach. I know he's the... I'll just look him up because... I think his name is Lovie Smith? No. Maybe? Something like that. Aaron... Sorry. Okay, who's Lovie Smith? Oh, he's the Texans head. Okay, sorry. Aaron Glenn. I want Aaron Glenn to be a person that they consider. Like... So when you're doing the Rooney Rule, and I don't exactly know the Rooney Rule, definition. I can look that up real quick, actually. Rooney Rule. Jesus Christ. Rooney Rule. Okay, sorry. Okay, teams must interview at least two minority candidates for head coaching positions and one external minority candidate for coordinator position. So that's easy to me. You get oh my god, I forgot his name again. He's like my number one pick to be the head, not number one, Aaron Glenn. So number one, you take Aaron Glenn as your because you need two minority. You get Aaron Glenn and Brian Flores. Simple as that. And I think you could hire either of them, and I'd be happy with it. Those are my 1 and 2. Well, Vrabel's my number 1. But those are my 2 and 3. Aaron Glenn, Brian Flores. You can interchange them. If one of those guys was hired for the Patriots, I would be ecstatic. I would be very happy. Ben Johnson, he's up there, but I don't think he's realistically going to be the head coach. So, honestly, I think Aaron Glenn is the second most realistic thing that nobody's talking about. Well, third, because I think Brian Flores is the second most. Or Ben Johnson if he wants to come here. But I don't know if he does. But anyways, Aaron Glenn, one of the 2 Lions coaches, if they come here, I'll be extremely happy about it. Aaron Glenn's a tremendous defensive coordinator. He's got the Dan Campbell background, so he's going to be aggressive. He's going to know how to win. And I just like him. I really do. I like him as a person. I think he's going to be considered. He's going to be a head coach this year. And hopefully he's going to be a good leader because the Lions defense is not great, but I don't know. I think he would be a good head coach. Good head coaching candidate. So if the Patriots go out and get Aaron Glenn, I wouldn't be mad at all. So those are my top 4. I don't really know anybody else that's really going to be considered for head coaching. Let's see what they got here. Oh, that's not right. Let's see. Why Brian Branch reminds Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn of himself. Yeah, so Aaron Glenn. Oh no, this is about the Saints. So yeah, Aaron Glenn will be top candidate for Jets and Saints and head coach. So this is not just me saying this. Yeah, so Aaron Glenn says Detroit Lions can win the Super Bowl. Yeah, so let's go look at like the top 10 head coaching candidates. NFL head coach candidates 2025. See if they got a list. All right, they got a list. Mike Vrabel at number 1. Respectable. Number 2, Ben Johnson. Number 3, Aaron Glenn. Not just me, I'm telling you. Cliff Kingsbury, number 4. I don't really want him. Brian Flores, number 5. I do want him. Joe Brady. Maybe. I mean, the Bills are good. Maybe. I would say it's a little early, so probably not. Thomas Brown. Definitely not. No. Definitely. He did a terrible job with the Bears. Pete Carroll. No, probably not. Liam Cohen. I don't know who that is. And Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame. Yeah, I don't know who that is either. But so, if we're looking at the 6th most option, if I had to rate them, I would say number 1, Mike Vrabel. Number 2, Brian Flores. Number 3, Aaron Glenn. Number 4, Ben Johnson. Number 5, Joe Brady. And number 6, Cliff Kingsbury. Maybe, I don't know, because I don't know if I'm saying, I don't know, maybe I would put Ben Johnson at number 2, actually. Because I would be maybe I'd even put him at number 1. Because I would be the most excited. Yeah, so I'd probably put Ben. So, I can't make up my mind for some reason. But yeah, I put Ben Johnson number 1. Yeah, probably. Vrabel, Johnson, Interest. Like, if they got one of the top 4 guys that I just said between Glenn, if they got Aaron Glenn, Brian Flores, Mike Vrabel, or, okay, I'm having a tough time. Ben Johnson. If they got one of those 4 guys, I would be very happy. And if they get Joe Brady, I'll be happy too. I mean, I don't know how experienced he is to be a head coach, so probably would stay away, but honestly wouldn't be that mad. Anything is better than JEROD Mayo, probably. So yeah, those are my top 6. I think you should interview all those guys. And yeah, you don't even have to and this sounds really bad, what I'm about to say, but sometimes, and this is really bad, not me saying this, but sometimes teams will not consider the Rooney Rule candidates that they interview. But the Patriots should 100% consider those guys because, and they shouldn't even I don't know, because obviously it counts, but that's a real head coaching candidate that I want. Aaron Glenn and Brian Flores. I want them very much so. Brian Flores is because I have 3 or 4 number 1s. Aaron Glenn, he's probably number 2. But Flores, Johnson, or Vrabel, I'd be super happy with. Those are my 4 number 1s. And then Glenn, I would also be really happy with too. And then the rest are just out there. But I wouldn't be mad at Brady or Kingsbury. Yeah, so that's a lot. Head coaching stuff here. Offensive coordinator, we'll see. Maybe Daboll gets fired tomorrow. Also, Daboll, you'd be in the 1 spot as well. Okay. Having a tough time now. But yeah, he would be also in the number 1 spot as well. So yeah, those are just some thoughts on the head coaching. Let's talk about the game a little bit. The Patriots, unfortunately, they do win. I know that sounds bad, but they drop out of the number 1 pick. They will pick 4th in the upcoming 2024 NFL Draft. Nobody is talking about that. I went 26 minutes without talking about the biggest story of the day, pretty much, because, yeah, not the biggest story anymore. But I'm just checking the Instagram, see if anything happened. Joe Milton, shout out Joe Milton. Definitely one of the biggest, or his best game of his, obviously. But, shout out Joe Milton. Shout out Kayshon Boutte. Shout out Austin Hooper. Shout out Marcelo Style. And shout out Demario Douglas. You all balled out today. We'll do season grades on the next podcast. 23-16 Patriots win. JEROD Mayo fired after just 17 games, less than a year into his head coaching tenure. Who will the Patriots' next head coach be? Comment down below in the YouTube comment section. And we will see you next weekend with the Grades Podcast. Follow me on Instagram, Patriots3. Follow Austin on Instagram, Austin Ray. Follow me on Twitter, Patriots3. Follow us on Instagram, Patriots Real Time. And follow the podcast on YouTube, Spotify. And that's it. So, yeah, we'll see you Saturday. So, JEROD Mayo is gone.